Okay, welcome all of you. Today I would like to share some of my views on philosophy. What is philosophy? And I will be sharing my personal views. If you refer, any books which talks about philosophy, it will say philosophy is nothing but it's a combination of wisdom and judgment. Okay, it is a combination of wisdom and judgment. So almost all the books available on philosophy, it comprising that philosophy is nothing but wisdom and the judgment. Okay, a philosopher should have his own wisdom. He should able to judge the different happenings of the world and different events of the world and practices of the world. And with that judgment, they should come up with their own wisdom for that particular aspect, for that particular process, for that particular activity, or any real time happenings in this particular society of the world. And technically, if you ask what is philosophy, philosophy is nothing but it's an activity. It is not yet another subject. Okay, so don't mess up that. Philosophy is also yet another subject. It is not a subject. Philosophy is not a subject. Philosophy is an activity. It's an action. Philosophy is an activity. It's an action of working out the best way to think about things. So I repeat, philosophy is an activity of working out the best way to think about things. Okay, how as a person with the wisdom and having capability of judging the different happenings of the world, how you are going to work out, how you are going to establish, or how you are going to identify the best way to think about the things happening in the world. So philosophy is an action of establishing a best way to think about the things. So that is the technical, way of understanding philosophy. See, we are all doing research. We are all after 3 or so years, all will be getting PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, and you'll be, as I told you in the other session, you'll be, equivalent to the great philosophers like Aristotle, Plato, and all. They are also philosophers, and you are also philosophers. And we have to, ask ourselves a question: are we really working out the best way to think about the things? Are we having the such wisdom and judgment? Okay, so are we really having our personal wisdom, and are we having the our personal capability of judging the different things are happening in the world? So that question is very very important. We should have that particular skill when it comes to one stage in academics. We all will be reaching the a gather of a professor. Okay, professor is not an ordinary teacher. Professor is a person one who able to profess his or her own ideas. Okay, so that is the professor. Professor is nothing but he or she should able to profess his own or her own perception on the subject. So that is the quality or the skill a professor should have. At the same way, when it comes to the philosopher, when you have a PhD, you are a recognized philosopher. You will be recognized with a certificate. You are a philosopher. So that we need to ask ourselves whether we really have that capability of judging and having some great personal wisdom on the different happenings of the world, not just to the research what you do. The research what you do you will be learning the processes of doing the research. You will be learning the process of doing the research. So that is the thing you learn when you do the PhD work. But at the end of the day, when you complete your research work, you should have the maturity that is being equivalent to the traditional philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, Karl Marx, and all. So there are, one of my personal view about the philosophers or philosophy is, see, as philosophers, we should have self-knowledge. We should have self-knowledge or perception. You should have a self-knowledge or your own unique perception on whatever you want to prove in the real life practices. Philosophy in simple, it will be trying to prove, in the real life practices. So philosophy will always try to prove or disprove something in the real life practices. So as a philosopher, what is your perception on the things happening in the real life practices? So are you really having self knowledge, a perception on whatever you want to prove in the real life practices? So that is the one core quality that I can expect it from the philosophers. So the other time, if many great philosophers used to say, when a country is going to be ruled by philosophers, or when a country is going to rule by adopting a particular philosophical ideological aspect, then that country will have a great prosperous. So that is what the all the philosophers are insisting. So in real time, a country which is ruled by philosophers, or which is guided or mentored by philosophers will be ruling the world. Okay, so that is why almost the governments across the world, the politicians are different, the intellectuals and philosophers are different. The politicians, politicians, they will just represent the people. They may not be the philosophers. Okay, so what they will do is they will be getting the advices of the philosophers, so the modern philosophers. The modern philosophers are the intellectuals, the intellectual community of this particular society. So they may be not necessary to be in the government, not necessary to be in the any of the advisory boards of the government, but there are some moral guidance, moral mentors may be there. For example, take the case of Tamil Nadu. For the last 70 years, the entire politics, the entire policies, politics, schemes of government of Tamil Nadu is 100% it depends on the way laid by a great person called Tandai Periyar Ivera. So he is one of the UNESCO recognized philosopher in India, and the entire politics, the entire scheme is based on the ideology propounded by Periyar, Tandai Periyar. Okay, so like that, there will be a lot of persons are there in each and every state. For example, in Karnataka also there is a poet called Kovambu. Okay, so a lot of things. Okay, so the ideology, the perceptions, what the intellectuals share. Okay, the perception, what the philosophers share about what is happening in the country, what is happening in the society, what is happening in the economy. So based on that, if the government runs, then definitely the governments may able to get a right set of solutions for the different real time issues. So to consolidate, what I'm trying to say is, see, the philosophy should align with real time practices. Okay, this philosophy, the ideology of anything, you may have a you may have a left wing ideology or right wing ideology. It doesn't matter what stand you take, but What matters is whatever the stand you take, that should be aligned with the real-time practices. Whether you are taking a stand with the real-time practices or opposite to the real-time practices, it is up to your way of understanding the happenings. Okay, so a person to person, the way of understanding the real-time practices may differ. But when you get into the level of the maturity of the philosopher's stage, you need to be very careful without any bias. You need to try to find out, try to find out, well, try to find out the logical background of that real-time practices. So you cannot simply say like a layman, so I'm agreeing and disagreeing. So you should come up with a scientific proof for that. So you should come up with a a solid proof for whatever you stand you are going to take on a certain belief. It may be a certain belief or it may be a certain policy. Some people may believe in God and some people may not believe in God. Okay, so as you see, it is a, as if you are a common man, then you can you may not be able to really give a matured answer, matured way of addressing why you believe in God, why you are not believing in God. If you are a philosopher taking a state of I believe in God, I am not believing in God, then you should come up with a scientific way of addressing why you are believing in God, why you are not believing in God. So that kind of support is very much needed. Uh, you know, uh, Scientific support is very much needed. And see, I always used to see, I used to see and used to discuss in the different meetings and lectures whenever I used to give lectures on philosophy and ideology. According to me, there is no right or wrong in this world. Okay, nothing is wrong, nothing is right. Okay, there is no, according to me, there is no right or wrong in this world. All are just perceptions. All are just perceptions. So, which is, for me, something can be right. The same cannot be right for you. That may be wrong for you. Okay, it's all about perception. Literally, there is no right or wrong. It is all about the perception of the person. So philosophy, or when you are trying to move to the mature level of philosopher, you need to you can take two different extreme stand right or wrong, but you need to explain. You should be able to explain why. You need to explain the entire process you went through. You cannot simply take this end or that end. As a matured, a person, one who believes in a scientific way of addressing all these things, to travel from right to wrong. So right is here, wrong is here. In between this right and wrong, there will be n number of dots are there. So you should address all those dots. And end of the day, if you say right or wrong, then it is the perception. Okay, so there is no nothing. There is no a notation called right or wrong. It all about the just a perception. Okay, that is what I believe when it comes to perception of philosophers. And as a PhD scholars, we are going to produce thesis. Okay, you are going to produce thesis. Thesis is what does the thesis mean? Thesis is nothing but coming up with a solid proof, coming up with a solid proof for some fact, solid proof for some fact or real time happening. You may agree or disagree. You may prove or disprove. So you will come up with a proof for the disapproval or approval. You may come up with a proof for the agreement or disagreement. So that is the thesis. So there is an opposite to that, that is the antithesis. Antithesis is nothing but you will be disproving it. So you will, by coming up with a proof, if you disprove it, that is the antithesis. So there are two things are there: thesis and antithesis. So as we grow as doing our PhD. So end of the day, after 5 years or 10 years after your PhD, if you continue the rigorous of a research, one point of time you should be having the maturity of that philosopher's state. Uh, I don't believe all of us will reach that state, but a rigorous researcher, one who do research for the sake of searching, understanding the society, really understanding the real-time practices, for his or her own, maturity and enlightenment. See, as a philosopher or a very vigorous reader, you'll get much enlightened when you read a lot. When you read a lot, so that will give a different, energy to you. So that kind of persons, that is a very rare and rare among us. But still, we can, you as you are studying research, you should know these processes and how these philosophers think and how this philosophy works in the real world. And moreover, when it comes to the understanding of the real time happening in the society, there are two ways of understanding. Okay, a wrong understanding and the right things. There are two ways of understanding. One is a wrong understanding on the right things. So literally some things may be very right by practice, but you may understood it in a wrong way. So that is one way of having a clarity of understanding. You are having a clarity of understanding, but you are having a wrong understanding on the right thing. The other the side of the clarity of understanding is a right understanding on the wrong things. For example, before 50 years, 60 years, women are not allowed to walk. Women are not allowed to walk in India. They are just been in the home, and they used to take care the family only. So they were not allowed to work in the public, work in the job market, or they are not allowed to freely move in the public. So that was the right understanding. They believe that the entire society believed, even some of the great leaders and great thinkers of that time believed that they are right. They should not go out. They may come up with a right, some reasons for why the women should not go out and work. Okay, but over the time, the society evolved. The society evolved, and the lot of great intellectuals and leaders fought for the allowing women into the education and women into the job. So this one all happened. So this all these kind of changes in this world. So I really like the quote by Karl Marx. So I'm having the Karl Marx picture here in my table. So one famous quote of the Karl Marx is the what is not change, what is not changing in the world is the change. Change is the ever changing. What is not changing in the society? Only the change is not changing in the society. So the society, as the human civilization evolves, as the society evolves, the change, only the changes in the ideology, the changes in the way we move along as a society, only the change. Okay, so a lot of changes are happened. So these days also there are a lot of beliefs are there. Okay, lot of beliefs are there about the way. See, after take the case of the present the party ruling in India, that is totally a right-wing party. Okay, in the 70 plus years of independent India, last two terms. Okay, last two terms. It's the very first time, last 7 8 years, very first time in the Indian history of politics, Indian history of Indian free independent India, the right-wing party ruling India with full majority, with full majority. So before that, right-wing party, had one term with support of other regional parties. This is the very first time for the last 7 8 years, the right-wing ideology, the right-wing philosophy is ruling India. That is why whether you like it or not, whether the way they implement the schemes and policy, that is, very rigorous. And it is obvious, okay, it is obvious when I come to power, then if I believe in certain ideology, if I have certain philosophy, it is very obvious that, I will go along with, executing my philosophy and my ideology when I am in the power. If you are into the other ideology, if you are into the other, philosophy, you can respond to it, you can fight back, you can respond to it. Nothing wrong. I cannot blame this, the party which is ruling India right now, because it is very very obvious when you come into the power after a very long time. When you come into the power with the full majority, it is very obvious that they will try to implement their ideological based policies and schemes. So nothing to wonder there. So as philosophers, we have to look into, to avoid biases. You avoid biases, and you just try to understand, the what is understand what is happening in the real time practices by deconnecting yourself from that particular situation. Don't take any call. By deconnecting yourself from that particular situation, you can better capable of seeing it from the third person point of view. Okay, so that is why all the time when we are in the trouble in our personal life, also when we are in the trouble, or when we are in the some issues, we may not take a right call. So we will go to some third person, because he or she is the person out of this issue. Okay, when you are out of the issue, you can be unbiased, and you can be very matured, and you cannot be unbiased. So that will help you to take a better decision to solve the issue. So the extreme level of this understanding, is very much important for the philosophers. So this is all about, my personal views on philosophy, what I think about philosophy, what I think about the philosophers, and then I would like to quote three important Kural, Tirukural, written by a great Tamil poet, Tiruvalluvar. So that talks about some of the senses of this philosophical way of understanding the society. So this research tenure will help you to, build your capability to, to have a philosophical understanding on the lots of real-time happenings in this particular society. See, in one of the Tirukural written by a great Tamil poet, Tiruvalluvar, it runs like this: Selvathul Selvam, Sevichelvam, Achelvam, Selvathul Ellan Talai. So what it means is, see, whatever knowledge you gain by hearing, whatever knowledge you gain by questioning, so that is the greatest wealth of you. Okay, this meaning of this Quran is that whatever the knowledge you earn by questioning the things what is happening in the world. So he insists to question the question the things happening in the world. So question everything. Okay, so don't just accept it. Don't just go with the way the society goes. Don't go with the way the human civilization goes. Have your to have your own perception. First, you need to ask question. So question everything. Okay, when you start questioning everything, that will one day lead you to have your own perception on that particular aspect. So that is what this particular Tirukural is saying. I am very much with this particular perception of Tiruvalluvar. The in other Tirukural by a great Tamil poet Tiruvalluvar runs like this: எப்பொருள் எத்தன்மை ஆயினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பதறிவு. I repeat, எப்பொருள் எத்தன்மை ஆயினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பதறிவு. See, whatever the things you see in this world, so whatever the nature characteristics of the things you see in this world, don't accept it as the way they are. Okay, don't accept the things, the characteristics and quality of the things as they are, but try to get clarified with your wisdom. Try to clarify with your wisdom and judgment. Judge the characteristics and qualities of the existence of the word, different things of the word. So question it and test yourself, judge it, and with your wisdom and judgment, try to understand whether they are really having that particular inbuilt characters and qualities. So simply simply this particular aspect is having this character and this particular quality, don't accept it. By adapting your judgment and wisdom, experiment that particular aspect, characteristics and quality of that particular thing or aspect with your judgment, and then if you agree with that, then take it. If you are disagreeing, then travel into that and try to travel into that to identify what it really. Okay, so that you can come up with your own perception of that particular aspect. So that is what this Tirukkural is saying. So this is, we are connecting it to the understanding the philosophy. And the one last Tirukkural I would like to bring here for understanding how a philosopher, how a philosophy can be. எப்பொருள் யார் யார் யார்வாய் கேட்பினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பதறிவு. எப்பொருள் யார் யார் வாய் கேட்பினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பதறிவு. See, you are hearing to many people. See, this lecture also you are hearing to me. Don't just accept whatever you get it from the others. So whatever you read from a textbook, it's not necessary that you should readily accept what is written in that textbook. Not necessary that you should readily accept my views on this particular, on the philosophy. Okay, so what whoever says on anything, just don't just believe it, and try to understand the fact of it. Try to understand the real face of it by applying your wisdom and judgment.